Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody here to our program tonight. We are coming on the air at 4:24 p.m. Eastern Time. I want to give everybody just a few more minutes to get into our program. I know for a fact that YouTube does not always notify everybody that we're on the air. But those of you that are here, you can notify your friends, your neighbors, and those people that you know that come here to this program, and you can get access to this program almost immediately. Okay? But again, I'm tired of that agency. YouTube does not always notify anybody when we come on the air. And that's why I try to give everybody just a few minutes to come here and join us here on the air. I used to have a video that I would upload along with this program to give people a little bit of a chance to get in here, but YouTube didn't like that. YouTube kept penalizing me, so I stopped using it. I don't want to have that happen. We have quite a few people in here. We have Demon Catman from the east of England. He's here. Catherine Sigerson from Canada. She's here. Hurricane Heather is here from Northern California over near Mount Shasta, California. Yes, we're going to talk about Mount Shasta in just a little bit. I want to welcome her. Aubrey Layton from South Dakota is here. Welcome, Aubrey. Welcome home. Aubrey was over in Seattle during this last week visiting her family. She's back in South Dakota now. Welcome, Aubrey. Appreciate you being here. Let's see. Who else? Renee Sevy's here. My dear friend Renee Sevy from here in North Carolina is here as well. Cece is here. Welcome, Cece. We appreciate you being here. Now, does anybody have any questions before we start? I usually ask those questions towards the end of this program or after we complete talking about one thing or another, but I'm going to ask you now. Wendy B47 is here. Welcome, Wendy. God bless you for being here. Does anybody have any questions for me? Any questions at all? Nova Scotia Rich is here. Welcome. Rich, it's good to see you. Very good to see you. Let's see. Anybody else is here? My buddy Demon Catman from the east of England. Yay! I love it. I love it. I love all you guys. I love everybody who comes here to this program to find out more information about earthquakes or whatever we're talking about. I appreciate that very much. Now, if you ever have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. I'm going to try to monitor this chat room more frequently than I have in the recent past. I'm going to really try wholeheartedly to make sure we have the information here for you. Oh, great. Wonderful thing. Okay, I've got my other monitor here. We're in business. Awesome. 25 people watching, 17 people giving us a thumbs up. Also, if you would, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoy this program and you enjoy the information we give you. We appreciate that as well. Give us a thumbs up and also make sure you're still subscribed. YouTube continues to unsubscribe people, everyone, and you need to make sure you're still subscribed to this program. Also, something else, right next to the subscription button. Right next to the subscription button, there is a little tiny bell icon. Click on that bell icon. When you click on that bell icon, a series of 3 messages is going to pop up. Click on the word ALL, all. That should get you notified when we come on the air. So 1, subscribe to our program. If you're not subscribed, please resubscribe. Click on that bell icon to get notified when we come on the air. But be advised, YouTube does not always notify everybody when we come on the air either. Unreal. That's just how they are. Okay? They don't like us. I don't really give a darn what they do or don't like. I want to get as many people in this channel as possible because we have a lot of information for you. My buddy Joe is here. He's asking, do we have any more news about the new Madden fault? Guys, guess what? Let's go over to USGS map really quick. I want to show you something. Okay? I hate even saying this. I really take down our banner, take down our webcam here. Right now, we're showing you an earthquake, a very strong 6.0 earthquake that happened southeast of the Kamchatka Peninsula here earlier today, just about 10 a.m. Mountain Time today, okay? Or 10 a.m. Pacific Time today. 6.0 earthquake here, just south of here. Excuse me just a second. Just south of there is another 5.0 earthquake. 5.0 earthquake. This happened at 1:15 this afternoon, Eastern Time. Up here to the northwest here, this is a 5.2 earthquake here. 5.2 earthquake here. This is a 5.1. This is a 4.6 moderate quake. This is a 4.4 earthquake, moderate quake as well. Further up here to the north, this is a 4.4 earthquake. Nice. We have a Facebook messenger group called Quakes and Volcanoes. On that Quakes and Volcano chat room earlier, I said this was a 5.4 earthquake. It was a 5.4 that they downgraded to a 5.2. Okay? They downgraded this earthquake to a 5.2 earthquake. Unreal. They do that frequently. It's not very surprising to me at all. They do it all the time. Again, this is a 5.1, and way down here further south, we have a 5.0 earthquake here, right there. There's a 5.0 earthquake here. Okay? Now let's go over to the new Madden fault. Let's come out all the way across the Pacific Ocean. Let's go over here to the new Madden fault. They're not showing one darn earthquake here. Tomorrow night, we will show you earthquakes here on the new Madden fault, whether they put them here or not. Okay? Over here in Missouri, right over here in Missouri, there are a ton of earthquakes here. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking at all. We have 3.0s. We have 3.5, 3.0, 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. We have a ton of 3.0 to 3.5 and even a 3.7 earthquake here in Missouri along the New Madden Fault right there, right here. Okay? Let me zoom in here. 3.7 earthquake right here today. Okay? Now, the USGS does not like to tell us about anything. They don't report earthquakes almost anywhere around the world at all. And if they were doing their job, they would report earthquakes here in this country. But they don't even do that. They don't want people to know what's going on. And tomorrow night, I will show you all kinds of earthquakes here. It's just not here in Missouri either. This is the center of the New Madden Fault, by the way. This is the center of the New Madden Fault. Further down here to the south in Arkansas, earthquakes all over the Arkansas area here. All over the Arkansas area. From up north here near Jonesboro, Arkansas, all kinds of earthquakes here. All kinds of earthquakes here, but even further north here, all kinds of earthquakes up and down the entire fault line. Okay? All over. Again, we're seeing 3.0, 3.4 earthquakes here in Arkansas. Yes, we have our share of tremors and minor earthquakes as well. But there are earthquakes all over this place. Okay? There are earthquakes over here in Tennessee as well. Now, Tennessee has its own issues over here towards eastern Tennessee. They have the Tennessee Seismic Zone. The Tennessee Seismic Zone. This area right here is very susceptible to earthquakes. In fact, here in Tennessee, along this seismic zone, we could have up to a 6.5 very strong earthquake. 6.5 very strong earthquake over here in the Tennessee seismic zone here. Wouldn't be surprising to me that we could see that at any time. Okay, we can see that at any time. We are already having minor earthquakes, and yes, we've had some 3.0s, 3.5 earthquakes here in Tennessee as well. Okay, all over the place. All over the place, guys. Here in Kentucky, the same thing. We have earthquakes all over Kentucky. Most of the earthquakes here in Kentucky range in size from 1.5, 1.7 tremors all the way up to 3.2 earthquakes. Kentucky. Now, what separates Kentucky and Tennessee from North Carolina and even South Carolina? The Blue Ridge Mountains here. The Blue Ridge Mountains are the Eastern Continental Divide of the United States. Eastern Continental Divide of the North American Craton. The North American Craton here. Okay? That's the Continental Divide. Everything east of the Continental Divide is actually on the Atlantic Plate. On the Atlantic Plate, you guys. And guess what? We have our earthquakes here along the Atlantic Plate. Okay? Virginia here. We continue to see earthquakes here in Virginia. Most of them are 2.5 to 2.9, but occasionally we'll also see a 3.0 here in Virginia. Down here in North Carolina, all the way up here, out in this area here, we're seeing earthquakes. Okay? Again, we've seen minor tremors. We've seen minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.9. We've also seen our share of 3.0, 3.5. And yes, during the last few months, we've actually seen 4.0 moderate quakes here. Okay? We're seeing those same things over here in South Carolina as well. Okay? It's happening all over the place. Why? Let me back this map out just a little bit. Okay? Why are we having earthquakes here? Because of the Atlantic Fault. The Atlantic Fault. The Mid-Atlantic Fault here is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Fault here is expanding. Why? What's going on? Let me open up our video camera here. Okay? The Mid-Atlantic Fault is doing this. It's expanding. It's pushing Europe and Africa in the easterly direction. It's pushing Greenland, the North American continent, Canada, the United States, and Mexico in a southwesterly direction. That's what's happening. That's why we're having so many earthquakes up and down the East Coast. That's why we're having so many earthquakes down here on the East Coast. Now, I showed you the earthquakes along the Kamchatka Peninsula. Okay? Let me take down our webcam here again. Let's go over here to Guadeloupe. Okay? Right here. This is in the Leeward Islands. Leeward Islands are south of the U.S. and British Virgin Islands here. Down here in Guadeloupe today, we have a 5.0 large earthquake again. A 5.0 large earthquake here again. Yes, we've had a couple other 5.0 earthquakes here in the recent past. Okay? But this is another 5.0 earthquake here. Let's expand this map out. Look where it's at. Okay? Look where it's at. It's off the coast of Guadeloupe. 17 miles northeast of Anse-Bertrand, Guadeloupe. Now, why is this important? Because this is off the coast. Okay? Now, it's in the water. This is in the water. Some of the ocean waters here of the Atlantic Ocean absorb the shockwaves of this quake. However, Guadeloupe got shaken today. Guadeloupe got shaken. It was close to the coast. So these people here on Guadeloupe felt part of that earthquake. Probably not the entire seismic earthquake. But some of the seismic waves came over here to Guadalupe, and it shook Guadalupe today. We have no reports of damage, however. Okay? Guadalupe probably got shaken as a 4.5, 4.8 earthquake, moderate quake. Moderate quakes can cause moderate damage. But we have no reports of damage or injuries yet. I don't believe we're going to have injuries at all from this earthquake. But it did happen here in the waters between Barbuda and Guadalupe. Okay? But that's here in the Western Atlantic Ocean here. Okay? We go up to Puerto Rico. Let's go up here to Puerto Rico. Southern Puerto Rico here. What do we know about Puerto Rico? Back in 2019, okay, December 26th and December 28th, 2019 should hold out a reference point. Why? Because on December 26th, we had an 8.0 earthquake here. We had an 8.0 earthquake happen here in southwestern Puerto Rico. On December 28th, 2 days later, we had another 8.4 earthquake happening here. Why is that important? Because all of the earthquakes we continue to see here in southwestern Puerto Rico are aftershocks. All these earthquakes you see here today in southwestern Puerto Rico are aftershocks of those two major 8.0, 8.4 earthquakes here. That was a long time ago, relatively 6 years ago. We're still seeing aftershocks. This earthquake I've highlighted here is a 2.2 minor earthquake here. This is 5 miles southeast of La Porguera, Puerto Rico. Further northeast here, this is a 2.0. This is 2 miles southwest of Guanica, Puerto Rico. Okay, now I want to show you this. One of my dear friends here, Dominic, who is the captain of the Puerto Rican Police Department. He lives here in Guanica. 2.0 earthquake here. We go out here further northeast here. This is on land. Northeast of Guanica, Puerto Rico. This is also a 2.3 minor earthquake. Now, minor earthquakes are not usually felt at all. Only very, very sensitive people are going to feel this shaking. Very tiny earthquakes. Okay, very tiny earthquakes. Now, while this isn't felt, we need to still keep track of what's going on because earthquakes continue to happen. Yes, we have seen some 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, and 4.5 earthquakes even as of about a year ago. It still could happen. These earthquakes can still happen. Now let's go over here to the Mona Passage. Okay, this is Mona Passage here. This is a 3.6 earthquake, and this is just east of the Dominican Republic. This is a 3.6 earthquake here in the Mona Passage. The Mona Passage is the body of water between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. This is a small earthquake. Nobody even felt it. No way possibly, because again, the waters of the Mona Passage absorb the shockwaves of this quake. If this had been on land, you would have felt some very small shaking going on. Okay? Like moving under your feet. There is an island here in the Mona Passage here, but it's mostly unoccupied. The only time it's occupied is because sailboats come through here. And usually the surface is very bad here, and it can dash your boat into the rocks here and into the beaches. So most sailboats don't want to even get near here. But occasionally some sailboat will get in here and they will lounge on this island here. Okay, I've had even friends here go here in this island. Now let's pull out here. We don't show any other earthquakes between the Cayman Ridge, which is this earthquake fault to the north, and Puerto Rico. Okay, We don't see any earthquakes. Even over here in the Dominican Republic, we don't show any earthquakes. Now, why is that Cayman Ridge important? Let's move over here to Central America here. Okay, this earthquake fault, the Cayman Ridge, originates over here in Guatemala. Okay, the Cayman Ridge fault zone comes off of the I'm sorry. I can't believe I said that. It comes off Central America here and goes to the east here, travels to the east. Okay, it comes over here and then it goes north. Goes north over here closer to the Cayman Islands. Okay, it continues its eastbound journey and it's south of the Cayman Islands here. Okay, it continues eastbound here. It goes north of Jamaica and skirts the coastline of Cuba. All the while, it's bringing earthquakes out from Central America. Bringing earthquakes out from Central America out here. Okay, then it continues its eastbound journey over Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Yes, we have earthquakes out here. When it skirts Cuba, we see earthquakes in Cuba. Out here, north of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, we also see earthquakes here dropped by the Cayman Ridge. The same thing goes here when it comes here north of Puerto Rico. We'll drop earthquakes off north of Puerto Rico here. Then it continues its eastbound journey out here past the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and then it comes southbound east of the Leeward Islands here, and then it goes west, almost directly west here into Venezuela. Yes, we do get earthquakes here near Barcelona. We get earthquakes here near Caracas. We get earthquakes here near, I can't remember the name of this, Nuevo Esparta. Okay, these islands here are mostly visited by people that are on sailing boats and cruise ships and stuff like that. Okay, that's where these earthquakes come from. The Cayman Ridge Fault Zone. The Cayman Ridge Fault Zone. Okay, that's why I want to tell you about this. This earthquake here near Guadalupe was dropped by the Cayman Ridge. Now, with that said, I've been told it was dropped by the Cayman Ridge here. However, there's something else you need to know if you haven't already thought about this. Okay? These islands were made by volcanoes. These islands were made by volcanoes. Now, if I zoom in close enough, most of the time we don't see anything here on the USGS map in the water. But if we do this on Google Earth, for example, we can actually see the craters and the cones down here at the bottom of the ocean. Okay, that's because when the volcanoes have erupted, the vents here on the ocean bottom have put out lava. They put out lava. That's why we have craters and cones down here in the ocean. Okay, yes, we've had earthquakes here in Guadalupe. We have earthquakes over here near St. John's. Why? Because we have a volcano right here. We have a volcano here. What do we know about volcanoes? All of the volcanoes are recharging. All the volcanoes are recharging. That's why sometimes when we have an earthquake on the island itself, it's because of magma beneath the island. Magma beneath the island here. Okay? So I want to leave you with that. This earthquake may not have just been dropped by the Cayman Ridge, but it could be magma beneath the ocean bottom here. Okay? Just a heads up about that. Now, they're not showing hardly any activity here in South America. Just off the the central coast of Chile here. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. This is northwest of Cartagena, Chile. It's a 4.4 moderate earthquake. Now, what they're not showing you here are the other 11 earthquakes here. We have small 3.0 to 3.9s. We have some 4.0s, as you see here, 4.4 here. This is a 4.2 here, just off the coast of Anar, Chile here. But it's not the only one here. Sig Sauer, you cotton picker, thank you for that $20 super chat. Thank you for that $20 super chat. I've given you an email sticker here. I'm also giving you a thumbs up for that as well. Thank you for that super chat. It means a great deal to us. You're awesome, brother. You really are. Sig has also given us donations to our PayPal as well. And I want to thank him for that. I also want to thank Linda Covington. This past weekend, Linda and Sig have also given us PayPal donations. God bless you both. We appreciate that so much. It means a great deal to us. Helps keep this program on the air. Okay? In fact, let me tell you a little story here. I paid off the internet bill this past week. Okay? I believe I paid it off on Wednesday. Okay? The internet bill has not gone up. It's $253 a month. In order to broadcast this program, okay, it takes bandwidth. I paid $253 a month for bandwidth. Incredible. That's because I want you guys to have the information we have for you. Okay, let's go over here in northern Chile here. This is the border between Peru and Chile. This is a 4.5 earthquake here. 4.5 earthquake here. And what's they're not telling you is we also have 12 earthquakes here in northern Chile. A total of 14 earthquakes here in central Chile, around central Chile, and another 12 earthquakes here in northern Chile. They don't want us to even know about it. It's very apparent what their cause is. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. Okay? Another earthquake over here. Okay? This is over near central Peru. This is a 5.0 large earthquake. This is also 58 kilometers deep. A very shallow earthquake. Okay? Incredible. Scott Vrabel is saying Trump is going to announce next week splitting Israel. I've not heard that. I haven't heard that. Sig says he appreciates us with all his heart, and he remembers me saying it costs $253 a month to keep this program on. And he says he'll help the best he can. Sig, I appreciate that, brother. I really do. God bless you, brother. Sig has helped out with a few dollars here and there over the past, and occasionally gives us more like he did today. Thank you so much, Sig. God bless you. Okay. Also, Demon Catman is put up here, and you can see the scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Demon Catman has said here on the chat, or not in the chat, but yes, here in the chat, I'm sorry. Boy, I'm mixed up today. He's also given us our address here. Okay. Our postal address is 504 Bethel Road, box 401. Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code here is 28655. Okay. Also, scrolling across the bottom of your screen is our PayPal addresses. Yes, I still have my Venmo address here, and it's not working yet. I don't know why, but Venmo's screwed up. I'm going to figure that out as well. But you can still send us donations to our PayPal, which we greatly appreciate. Okay? Thank you for that. Okay? Scott Rabel says, thanks again for your reports, Ron. You're the best. Scott, you're the best as well. You all are. Yes, Lyndon, I did get your PayPal donation. Thank you so much. God bless you. God bless you. Unless you've given us another donation since yesterday. I haven't checked yesterday or today. I'll check it again a little bit later. Anyway, guys, there are a lot of earthquakes here in Chile and Peru and going up here into Colombia as well. 3 earthquakes here near Santander, Colombia here. Okay? But of course, they're not going to show these either. Okay? There are 12 earthquakes here in Central America here between Panama and Costa Rica. We have a couple other earthquakes over here, Nicaragua and El Salvador. Also, we have 1 or 2 earthquakes here near Guatemala. This earthquake here in South America, the Cocos Plate here. This is a 4.5 earthquake here in southern Mexico. Okay, 4.5 earthquake here in southern Mexico. Last week we had a 5.0 in the same area. Now we have a 4.5. The 5.0 was a large earthquake. This is a moderate earthquake here. But what they're not showing you is there are 45 earthquakes here in southern Mexico. From this earthquake, this 4.5 here, all the way up here to Puerto Vallarta. 45 earthquakes here. But they don't want anybody to know about it. Heaven forbid. Now, guys, I've told you that we've had large earthquakes here. Again, we had that 5.0 last week. We've had 7.0 earthquakes here. We've had 7.0 very dangerous major earthquakes here. I just heard the other day from the authorities in Mexico that they believe a 7.0 earthquake is likely here in or around Mexico City very soon. Okay, that's what I've been told. We don't know when it's going to happen. Nobody knows, but it's going to happen. The last time it happened, 1 day later up here, Southern California, Big Lake, Southern California. We had a 7.0 earthquake up here 1 day later. It happens. It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. As you can see, there are earthquakes here in Southern California. Going over here near the border, okay? The Imperial Fall, or the Imperial Valley here. The Imperial Valley. Guess what? Where's this? This is on the San Andreas Fault. Earthquakes here. This is a 1.4 near Holtville. West-southwest of Holtville here. 1.4 tremor here. Right here. This is a 2.4 minor earthquake here. This is a 1.3 tremor here. And this is a 1.6. Out in the middle of the desert here in the Imperial Valley, in the farming fields out here in the Imperial Valley on the San Andreas Fault. Right smack dab on the San Andreas Fault. Okay? But what they're not showing you here is there are probably 400 to 450 earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley today. That's normal. That's normal. They're still not showing all the earthquakes. Okay? For example, and this is a good one. This is Calipatria. I've shown these earthquakes here in Calipatria before. Calipatria typically has 75 to 150 earthquakes here a day. Just around here in Calipatria. Okay? They're not showing any either, are they? None. None. They took the seismograph out of Westmoreland here. There used to be a seismograph here in Westmoreland. They've taken it off, or taken it down anyway. Okay? We could usually show you 50 earthquakes from tremors to minor earthquakes up here in Westmoreland, even small earthquakes here. But now they're not showing it. Doesn't exist anymore. Really? Doesn't exist? Why doesn't it exist? They don't want us to see it. They don't want us to see it. We've had earthquakes here in Brawley, California. They still happen. They happen all the time. Okay? Let's go down here to the town of Imperial. Yes, we have this entire Imperial Valley down here. We have a town of Imperial here. If I were to show you the earthquakes here, you'd be astounded. Most of the earthquakes here are tremors and minor earthquakes, but we've also seen 2 3.0 earthquakes happen here in the town of Imperial here. Happens all the time. Then we go down south to El Centro. Good old El Centro. El Centro's had 25 3.0, 3.2, and 3.4 earthquakes here in El Centro today. 25 of them. Go figure. There's also a bunch of tremors. There's also a bunch of minor earthquakes here as well. But again, USGS decides, oh, they're not important. They're not important. Just like the earthquakes on the new Madden are not important enough to put on. Why? Because they know darn well what's happening here. They know that a major earthquake is due here very soon. Yes, here in the Imperial Valley. Okay? It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We actually think that the 7.0 earthquake is going to happen up here. Up here, east of Los Angeles, on the San Andreas Fault. It's going to happen. They have said that the San Andreas Fault here is locked and loaded, capable of a 6.5 to 7.5 earthquake, possibly even upwards of an 8.0 earthquake. It's locked and loaded. It's going to happen. But again, back in 2010 here at the border, just south of the U.S.-Mexican border, just south of the Imperial Valley, down here in the province of Guadalupe, Victoria, we had a 7.1 earthquake that they're now saying here, this was April 3rd, 2010. Okay, they said this was probably close to an 8.0 now. Yet it came out as a 7.1 here. There was a lot of damage here in Mexicali and over on the northern side of the border in Calexico. A lot of damage. Lots of damage. Now that earthquake is felt all the way over here in Arizona. It was also felt over here in northern LA, northern Los Angeles. It's felt all the way over here in San Diego as well. I just happened to be there doing an earthquake drill when this earthquake happened. I saw plate glass windows from the top of skyscrapers fall to the ground and break in millions of pieces. Yeah. It's going to happen again. It's very much going to happen again. Yes, what you see here, mostly tremors and minor earthquakes here in the Imperial Valley, in San Diego County. For example, this earthquake here. This is a 2.1 minor earthquake here. 2.1 minor earthquake. Let's go over here into the Anza-Borrego Desert area. The Anza-Borrego Desert State Park here. Okay? This is a 0.6 microquake. This is a 2.8. 2.8. This earthquake in red, just these earthquakes here that are in red just happened. This is a 0.8 microquake here. They do happen. They're happening all the time. USGS never shows all the earthquakes here in the LA area. Never. Never ever. They don't want people to know what's going on. And I will say this. Right now, there are 400 earthquakes here in Los Angeles. There are 400 earthquakes here in the Los Angeles area. And they're only showing a handful. Go figure. This earthquake right here near Corona, California, southwest of Corona, California, it's a microquake at 0.8. But there are other minor earthquakes. There are tremors down here, and there are also small 3.0, 3.5, and even 4.0, 4.5 earthquakes here in Los Angeles. Here in the Los Angeles area. And here off the coast, they're showing an earthquake here. This earthquake is northeast of San Clemente Island. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. 2.0 earthquake here. The Channel Island here. Okay? Guess what? We always have earthquakes here on Channel Island as of late. Most of the earthquakes here are minor tremors and minor earthquakes. Minor tremors and minor earthquakes on Channel Island. Go figure. Why is that? Channel Island sits on an earthquake fault here under the ocean. That's why Channel Island is rocking and rolling. Okay? East of Santa Barbara here. Again, on the earthquake fault. Fillmore, California. 1.2 tremor here. 1.2 tremor here. The whole place is moving. The whole place is moving. Adam, thank you for being here. Adam's here in the chat. He says, sounds like we're getting close to Judgment Day every day that passes. Yes. Yes, we are. Yes, we absolutely are. Appreciate you, Adam. Thank you for being here. Anyway, let's go up the coast here into Washington and Oregon. That's going to be our main focus here. Yes, I'm going to talk about Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen here today. Okay? I'm going to talk about it. It's because we have earthquakes here. We absolutely have earthquakes. Okay? Let's go up here. Okay? This is Point Roberts, Washington. 1.8 tremor here. Interesting. They want to show us a 1.8 tremor. Guess what? There's just not 1.8 tremors here. There's 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here as well. Okay? Which you don't know what they're not showing you here. Right up here. Okay? Right in this area right here. We have 2.5 and 3.0 earthquakes happening here. 2.5 and 3.0 earthquakes happening here. Minor and small earthquakes here. But heaven forbid, they don't want to show it to us. They do not want to show it to us, unfortunately. Earthquakes all over Washington. Now I'm going to show you a handful of earthquakes here in the Puget Sound area. I'm going to show you earthquakes at the volcanoes because the volcanoes are moving. The volcanoes are moving. Okay? So let's leave the USGS. Well, actually, no, let's don't do that yet. I haven't finished telling you about the other large earthquakes happening around the world here. Down south here, okay? This is Fiji. This just happened. This is a 5.0 earthquake. And this is 397 miles deep. That's a deep quake. That's a very deep quake, and as a result of this 5.0 earthquake, guess what? This 5.0 earthquake is going to propagate a much larger earthquake. This 5.0 earthquake is going to propagate a 6.5 earthquake. It's going to propagate a 6.5 earthquake. Okay? It's going to happen. This 6.5 earthquake here is going to happen within the next 3 to 10 days. Within the next 3 to 10 days, we're going to see a 6.0, 6.5 earthquake here in Fiji or Tonga, Samoa. Could be further south in the Legacy Islands. Could also be someplace else, such as Vanuatu or the Solomon Islands. Yes, very much so. Very much so. This is going to happen. I guarantee you it's going to happen. 392 miles deep, 639 kilometers deep. Very deep earthquake. What does that mean? Let's go down here to the depth to magnitude conversion chart. Depth to magnitude conversion chart. Let me take down the USGS map here so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the depth to magnitude conversion chart. 639 miles deep. Or not 600, 392 miles deep, 639 kilometers deep. Look here at 640. That means we have to add a 1.28 to this earthquake. Okay? This means it's going to be at least a 6.2 to 6.5 earthquake. It's going to birth a 6.2 to 6.5 earthquake here within the next 3 to 10 days. Fact. It's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. Now again, it could happen here in the Fiji area. It could happen over here into the Tonga area here, out here to the east. Could even happen over here in Samoa. Okay. Again, it could happen over here in the in Fiji. It could happen over here in the Legacy Islands here. It could also go here in the Vanuatu. It could happen here in Vanuatu. It could also happen over here in the Solomon Islands, or even over here in the Papua New Guinea. We've seen that happen before. But we are going to experience a very strong earthquake down here in the South Pacific in the next 3 to 10 days. Fact. Again, look at the earthquakes here. USGS is not showing any earthquakes at all here in Indonesia. There are 42 earthquakes here in Indonesia. 42 earthquakes here in Indonesia. Why are they not showing them? Inquiring minds want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. It's a sad day. This agency, the preeminent seismic agency here in the United States, refuses to give us information. Absolutely refuses to give information. Sad day. Very sad day. Now I'm bringing up my device here. I want to show you what's going on here. I just hate it when they don't want to show us information. I do. I hate it. Because when they don't show us information, you darn well better believe something's happened. Okay? So again, let me bring up our webcam here. Okay? Look at the earthquakes over here in New Zealand. Tons of earthquakes. Tons of earthquakes. Fiji region. 5.0 earthquake here. Deep earthquake. Deep earthquake. Vanuatu. Earthquakes here. Okay. Down here south of Vanuatu here, we have a 3.8 going north. There's 3 more earthquakes here, a 2.5, a 3.6, and a 3.2. Small earthquakes. Small earthquakes. Did you guys know that there are earthquakes here in Australia? Look at that. Earthquakes here in Australia. Southwestern Australia here. Or southeastern Australia, I'm sorry. Over here near Jamestown. Jamestown, Australia, we have a 1.93 2.0 earthquake. 1.93 2.0 earthquake here. Further to the west here and to the north in the volcanic area here in New Zealand. Volcanic area here in New Zealand. The Mara. This is the 3.77 earthquake here. This area is the volcanic area here in New Zealand. 3.77 small earthquake here. Further to the south and east here is another 3.68. 3.68 earthquake. USGS not showing a thing. Go figure. Go figure. Over here in Indonesia, look at all the earthquakes here. Incredible. They don't want to show us what's going on. Hiding earthquakes, yes, they are. Very much so, hiding earthquakes. One other earthquake I want to show you is in the Mariana Islands here. Let's go over here in the Mariana Islands, right here. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. The Mariana Islands are not occupied, except very, very seldom you'll see an occupied. Well, actually, there are some Mariana Islands that are occupied, but very seldom do we have an earthquake anywhere near them. Okay, this is on the Mariana Island Trench. The Mariana Island Trench here. Okay, this is way away from any islands here at all. Some islands are occupied, others aren't. Okay, going here in Japan. USGS has only shown us 2 earthquakes here in Japan. Western Japan here. Kamo, Japan. A 4.4 moderate earthquake. Further north off of Honshu. Okay, this is a 4.4 earthquake here on the water. Nobody felt this earthquake, but over here on the western side, they felt this earthquake. But guess what? There are not just 2 earthquakes, there are 5. There are 5 earthquakes here. Okay, let's go south from this 4.4 here. Okay, this is another 4.0. 4.0, 4.9 are considered moderate earthquakes. So now we have 2 of them. 2 of them. Further south from there, this is a 3.0 small earthquake here. 3 small earthquake here. This is over near Tokyo. 3.0 small earthquake here, and that may be felt here. Onshore here. This near TSUKUBA, Ibaraki, Japan. Okay, a 3.0 earthquake here, a populated area. Yes, they did feel it, just very, very tiny tremor. Tiny, or not tremor, but tiny earthquake, small earthquake. Okay, but that's not all, there's more. Okay, we showed you this one here near Kamo, Japan. Okay, that was on the map. But for the south here, Ilama Nagoro, excuse me, this is near Iyama, Nagano, Japan. This is also 2.4 earthquake here. Why are they not showing these? They show 2.0s all over the place. Why are they not showing them here? They're only showing 2 earthquakes here. Why are they not showing the others? I have issues with that. Now let's go over here to South Korea. Let's go across the Sea of Japan over here to South Korea. Incredible, right here. Why are they not showing the earthquake here in South Korea? This is a 2.3 earthquake here. 2.3 minor earthquake here in South Korea. They should be showing this. They should be showing it. Now, I'm not going to even attempt to tell you where this earthquake is. Okay? Look at this. The name of that town is like a 20-letter name. 20-letter name. South Korea. South Korea. Anyway, going over into Aleutian Islands. Okay, let's back out here. Let's go over here to Aleutian Islands. We showed you Kamchatka Peninsula earlier. Okay. USGS does not hardly show us anything here. A microquake here. Actually, this is not a microquake. This is a 1.0 tremor here. Okay. The Rat Islands. The Rat Islands here. Let's zoom in here. I want to show you this. This is right between two volcanoes here. Smack dab between two volcanoes and a very small, tiny island here. Nobody lives here. 1.0 tremor here. Okay. Now they're not showing any other earthquakes here. My question is why? Why? Okay. Let's go over here into the peninsula here. Okay. Faults Pass, Alaska. Faults Pass, Alaska. This is a 0.93 microquake. 0.93 microquake here. But again, why are they not showing it? Nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing to be ashamed of. Had something on my microphone here. Anyway, guys, there are approximately, oh darn it. There are approximately 40 earthquakes here in Alaska. 40 earthquakes here in Alaska here. Unreal. Linda Covington says she has her distant relatives in Australia. I have several friends down there. I have some very dear friends down there in Australia. I love them very much. They're good people. Very good people. Let's go back here into the Pacific Northwest here. Okay? They're hardly showing us anything going on. I'm going to show you earthquakes here in the Puget Sound area. I'm going to show you earthquakes at the volcanoes. Okay? Let's go down here to South Washington here. Right here. Okay? What's going on here? This is just northwest of Mount St. Helens. Actually, this is northeast of Mount St. Helens. This is a 0.5 microquake. Out here, northwest of St. Helens, this is actually, they say it's a minus 0.1 microquake. Minus numbers typically mean above sea level. Again, they are lying to the public. They're absolutely lying to the public. This earthquake is 4 miles deep. 4 miles deep. Incredible. Why would they lie to us about it? Why would they lie to us about it? That's the question we want to have answered. Okay. Let's go further south over here to Mount Hood. Good old Mount Hood. They're showing us 1 microquake here. They say this earthquake is 8 kilometers, 4 miles northeast of Government Camp. Government Camp here is Timberline. The Timberline seismograph. I'm going to show you more earthquakes here at Timberline. But they say this is 8 miles, or I'm sorry, 4 miles northeast of Government Camp. Guess what? Mount Hood is not 4 miles high. So again, USGS is lying through their teeth. They say this is a 0.3 microquake. Well, guess what? There are dozens of microquakes here at Mount Hood that I'm going to show you in a few minutes. And there's also some small earthquakes here as well. Okay? USGS again is lying through the teeth, not showing exactly what's going on. Incredible. Incredible. USGS, however, is showing one earthquake off the coast, right between the Cascadia subduction zone and Newport, Oregon. Okay? This is a 1.6 tremor here in the ocean off of Newport, Oregon. 1.6 tremor here. This tremor is 22 kilometers deep. Just very minorly deep. Not a big deal. But again, it's between the Cascadia subduction zone and Oregon. Okay? That's what they want to show us. Interesting. Interesting how they want to manipulate what's going on. Anyway, let's take this USGS map down. Let's take it down here. Let's bring up the seismogram showing you exactly what's going on in the Pacific Northwest. Okay? Why do I want to do this? Because the volcanoes are going and the Cascadia subduction zone is moving. It's moving. Right now, I start up here at Mount Baker. This is a volcano just south of Canada, just south of Vancouver, Canada. This is Mount Baker. Look what's showing. These are harmonic tremors going on. We've been seeing harmonic tremors here now for a couple, 3 months now. Nothing more than harmonic tremors. Look at this. Literally all day long. Let me show you another one here. Let me show you what's going on at Baker. Look at this. This seismogram is showing you activity of magma coming into the magma chamber here at Mount Baker. Look at this activity. The crazier the lines, the more curlicue the lines here. So these are called VLF lines here, very low frequency lines caused by magma entering the magma chamber of the volcano. Okay, this is very busy. Usually you can see some earthquakes here as well. But USGS is not showing us any earthquakes at all. None. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network is also not showing us any of the earthquakes. Yes, they are showing harmonic tremors all day long. But all of this activity of magma coming into the magma chamber will be fracturing rock inside the magma chamber, not just causing harmonic tremors. Fracturing rock inside the volcano would cause earthquakes. Earthquakes. All they're showing are tremors here. So again, between the USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network, they're not totally telling us the truth. Yes, there are harmonic tremors, but there are also earthquakes here as well. Okay, let's go south. I want to go over to Mount Rainier now. Originally, I was going to show you Glacier Peak, but there's nothing being shown on the sideground at Glacier Peak. Glacier Peak is just south of Mount Baker, about 45 miles south of Mount Baker. Glacier Peak is not showing anything on the sideground because they're lying to the public. They're completely lying to the public. There's a lot going on about Glacier Peak. Let's go down to Mount Rainier. Lots of stuff going on at Mount Rainier. This is Camp Muir. Camp Muir is on the north side of the volcano, near the summit of Mount Rainier. All we are showing you here are microquakes and steam. If there are vertical lines here without dots in the middle of them, those are steam signals. Yes, we're seeing some minor microquakes and also 2.9 earthquake here. A 2.9 earthquake here, and I'm going to zoom in here so you can see what I'm talking about. That's a 2.9 earthquake here. This happened after 8:15 this morning. 8:15 this morning, a 2.9 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. You didn't see that on the seismogram, did you? Or I mean on the map. You have to go looking for the seismogram to show you these earthquakes, aren't you? They would proudly show you microquakes at St. Helens, but not at the mountain, not at the volcano. They're off to the west and the east. This not the west and the east. This is at the volcano. Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are both active. Yes, we're seeing some minor microquakes. We're also seeing some minor earthquakes here as well. Up here last night here, you see some minor earthquakes here, 2.0. We see some 2.7 earthquake here on this red line here. And this happened at just after 9:06 last night, 9:06 p.m. last night. You see some microquakes also here. No big deal. No big deal. But why are they not showing all this activity here? They want to show us two microquakes off to the northwest and northeast. Mount Rainier. But they're not telling us the truth. Well, this is Camp Muir over on the north top of Mount Rainier. There's more than that. A lot more than that. That's Camp Muir. Let's go over to Camp Sherman, the southern part of Mount Rainier near the summit. Look at this. As always, this seismogram is showing you more activity at Mount Rainier than the others. What's going on? Let's take a closer look here. Yes, we're seeing microquakes. We're seeing some minor earthquakes. We're also seeing some 3.0 earthquakes here as well. Okay? For example, on this black line here, let me try to zoom in here closer. On this black line here, this is after 1 o'clock this morning. Okay? 1 o'clock this morning. That's a 3.0 earthquake there. Before that, you see some minor tremors and microquakes. Minor tremors and microquakes. Again, were they not showing us here? All this activity. Okay? Then this black conglomeration here. Okay? This has to do with magma. Okay? It's called a magma churn signal. Magma churn signals happen when we have superheated magma inside the volcano. This magma churn signal is typically supposed to be 23 to 24 lines high. It's not. It's not. Again, USGS is not showing us exactly what's going on, and neither is the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. This magma churn signal is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines high. They're just barely showing us 30 to 32% real world. That means the information on the seismogram is actually larger. The earthquakes and tremors here are actually larger. They're actually larger than showing here. The seismologists have turned down the seismograph. The seismologists have turned down the seismograph, so it's not giving accurate reporting. So nobody even knows what's going on here. The people living around the base of Mount Rainier are feeling small movement. You're feeling small movement. That is because there is magma that's coming into this volcano, fracturing rock, causing earthquakes. Fracturing rock inside the volcanic chamber, causing earthquakes. Okay? But that's not all, folks. There's more. There's a lot more. My buddy and pal, one of my mods here, Don Patoka, just gave us an EMA 1 membership. Thank you, Don. Thank you for that. You guys can also help support this channel by going over and opening up a membership here. For as little as $1.99, you can become a member of our channel here. I think the most expensive membership is $3.99. Don just got it. Don just got it. Thank you, Don. God bless you for that. Don has been a very dear friend of mine for a lot of years. 7 or 8 years now. I've known Don. A great man. Great man. He's a great mod here, and he's also a great man. One of my dearest friends. Thank you, Don. God bless you, brother. But again, this is happening at Mount Rainier. But they're not showing us everything. Heaven forbid they show us everything. Mount Rainier is moving. It's moving to a great extent. People around Mount Rainier to the north, south, east, and west are feeling the seismic energy here. Okay? There is magma coming off the Pacific plate, coming over here, causing these volcanoes to move. As I said before in other programs, you can't have volcanism without subduction. You cannot have subduction without volcanism. What happens? Okay? The Pacific plate is going underneath the North American plate. The Pacific plate and the Juan de Fuca plate are moving. The Pacific plate is going up underneath the North American plate like this. What happens? What happens? The Pacific plate movement is causing uprise in the North American plate. It also is causing the magma from way down the depths of the earth to rise into the volcanoes. That's what's going on here. That's what's happening. So when we're talking about volcanoes, that gives you kind of an idea of what's going on. Yes, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but that gives you the basic idea of what's happening. Again, you cannot have volcanoes without subduction. You can't have subduction without volcanoes. They go hand in hand. That's why they call this whole area, I showed you on the USGS map, that's why they call this area around the Pacific Rim, around the Pacific Ocean, the Pacific Rim, they call it what? What do they call it? Can anybody tell me what they call it beside the Pacific Rim? It's a hot zone, isn't it? Volcanoes. Volcanoes. The Pacific Ocean is surrounded by volcanoes to the north in the Aleutian Islands, over into Alaska, over in the Kamchatka Peninsula. Going south over in the Kuril Sea, okay, Kuril Islands, south into Japan over on the west hand side. Going over in the Mariana Islands. China as well. Going south into the Philippines. Going south into Indonesia. Australia as well. New Zealand. We have a major volcano over New Zealand. Super volcano. Topo Lake, Topo volcano. Over in Chile to the east, volcanoes all over the eastern side of the Pacific Ocean. Going into Central America, volcanoes all over there. Mexico, California, Oregon and Washington, volcanoes. Incredible. Yes, Hurricane Heather got it, the Ring of Fire. It's a hot zone. These volcanoes are moving. Don't let the USGS and the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network fool you. There is magma moving into these volcanoes, and it looks like, we've shown you this before, it looks like these volcanoes are going to pop. They're primed for an eruption right now. They're primed for an eruption right now. Okay? One more seismograph here at Mount Rainier, and then we'll move south to Mount St. Helens. Mount Rainier, great place. Great place. This is Mount Rainier Emerald Ridge. We've talked a lot about earthquakes here on Emerald Ridge, Mount Rainier. Okay? Emerald Ridge is a seismograph here. Okay? Look at this. We're showing some movement here. Each individual line on any of these seismographs here are showing magma movement. Each individual line you see here is either thicker or thinner. That's called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals on any of these seismographs I've shown you so far. Magma pulse signals. Here you've seen earthquakes. Earthquakes caused by magma beneath the volcano. Magma inside the volcano. Okay? On this particular seismograph, we're seeing just minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes and some tremors here. That's all. That's all. Okay? Now let's move down south here. Good old south here. Let's go over here to Mount St. Helens. Just gotta love Mount St. Helens, guys. Really do. This seismogram is showing you earthquakes at Mount St. Helens at the East Dome. The East Dome is on the east side of the volcano, okay? Up at the summit. The seismograph sits on top of the volcanic rock, the plug of the volcano. The plug of the volcano. We're seeing earthquakes here, right? Oh, yes. We're also seeing tremors. Okay? What's causing these earthquakes? Magma down here at Mount St. Helens. Again, the thicker the lines, the more magma coming into the magma chamber here. Thinner lines, less magma. Look at these earthquakes. These earthquakes at Mount St. Helens are caused by magma. But again, they're not showing the real deal. Okay? These earthquakes are caused by magma at this volcano. These lines should be thicker. They're not. This first one over here, this is after 6 p.m. last night. 6 p.m. last night. Let's look at this, okay? 6:12 last night. 6:12 last night, we have a 2.8 earthquake. 2.8 earthquake as it sits right now. Off to the right, there seems to be a triangle going off to the right. It's called the secondary wave. The secondary wave. The secondary wave in this case is over a minute long. Okay? Over a minute long. That means this earthquake being a 2.7, 2.8 could possibly be even a 3.0. Could be a 3.0 earthquake. Then over here on the right-hand side, this is right before 6:19. Right before 6:19 p.m. last night. This would typically be a 3.0 earthquake. This may be even larger than that, possibly even a 3.2, 3.3 earthquake. Why am I saying that? Again, we look out to the right here. The secondary wave here lasts just over a minute. This is already 3.0 earthquake. The secondary wave tells us that this is a large earthquake. Okay, I'm talking about a 3.1 to 3.3 earthquake here. You also see some of the tremors here. Look here. Off to the left of these tremors, you see magma here, don't you? You see magma. In this one here, which is after 7 p.m. here. Just after 7 p.m. here, about 7:04 p.m. Okay, just a tiny tremor, 1.2, 1.3 tremor here. But down here in the center here, center left, these are also 1.2, 1.3, 1.4 tremors caused by magma coming into the magma chamber. Then you see here in the center of your screen here, literally in the center of your screen, these are lines here. These lines here represent time periods, okay? This top line here, this black line here is 4 a.m. this morning. These lines are thicker, aren't they? The thicker they are, the more magma coming into the magma chamber. These seismographs here that are reporting these earthquakes have been turned down a great deal. Turned down a great deal. We usually will see thicker lines here than we're seeing. The thicker the lines represent more magma coming into the magma chamber here. Yet here we also don't hardly see any tremors at all. Again, they are omitting data, falsifying information. Okay, that's Mount St. Helens. Let's take a look at another seismogram here at Mount St. Helens. There's plenty of them here. The next one I want to show you is Sugar Bowl. Sugar Bowl is just to the north of the volcano. Just to the north of the volcano. This seismogram is also showing those two earthquakes on the East Dome. Same earthquakes. But we're also seeing here on this particular seismogram, we're also seeing some tremors and minor earthquakes as well. You also see thicker lines here. Thicker lines indicate more magma coming into the magma chamber here. That's why we have these earthquakes here today. Actually, these are last night. Okay? Now there's one more seismogram I want to show you. This is September lobe. September lobe. This particular seismogram is showing us where the magma is coming in. Look at this. Last night, these wavy lines are wavy for a reason, like I said, over at Mount Baker as well. The wavier the lines, more magma coming into the magma chamber. As you saw on the other two seismograms, we had some earthquakes. Understanding we had just 2 earthquakes, we may have had more. But again, they're not showing them. Why? Because they don't want anybody to know what's going on. Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are showing signs of nearing an eruptive state. Mount Rainier, to a certain extent, has also had some lava plumes. Okay? Mount Rainier has had some ash that's been found at the summit of Mount Rainier. I've not heard that said about Mount St. Helens yet, but I'm sure that's the case. Okay? With what we're seeing here, we should have a lot more earthquakes as well. Okay? But after last night's episode, after, say, 10 o'clock last night, things calmed down. We don't see half the activity we had before. We don't even see half the activity we had before. But all of a sudden, during about a 4-hour period, and possibly even longer, this is what happened. We had a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber, causing these earthquakes. Okay? Mount St. Helens is active. It's very active. Now I want to go over to northeast of Mount St. Helens. This Barrett Spur. Barrett Spur is also showing harmonic tremors here. We're also showing euthiclar lines here as well. Again, magma coming into the magma chamber here at Barrett Spur. By the way, Barrett Spur is in and of itself a volcano. Barrett Spur is in and of itself a volcano. They have found that Barrett Spur was a volcano, and because of glaciation, ice, and water that ran over the surface here years and years ago, a lot of years ago, the ice and water wore down Barrett Spur's cone, and now it's just a flat volcanic plain. But Barrett Spur was a volcano. And look at the activity here. Yes, you are seeing harmonic tremors here, just like we've seen at some of the other volcanoes. But we're also seeing some minor earthquakes and tremors here. Minor earthquakes and tremors here at Barrett Spur. On this blue line here, let me raise this up further and let's enlarge this so you can see this earthquake on the blue line here. Okay, this is a 3.2 earthquake. A 3.2 earthquake after 6:03 this morning. 3.2 earthquake, 6:03 this morning. Now, on these seismograms, you're going to see the same thing we're seeing here. These little wavy lines here. This is just before 10 a.m. this morning. What happened? There was an earthquake, a 6.0 earthquake over at where? Kamchatka Peninsula. That's what we're seeing here. We're seeing remnants of that earthquake at Kamchatka Peninsula here at Mount St. Helens. We've seen that same signature on other seismographs. I just forgot to point it out until now. Again, Mount St. Helens is very active. Very, very active. Let's go down to Mount Hood. Good old Mount Hood. I just love Mount Hood. Great place, huh? Absolutely is. Let's go over to Timberline. This is over at Government Camp. Okay? They showed that earthquake supposedly 4 miles northeast of Government Camp. It wasn't. It was northwest. It wasn't 4 miles either. It was up at the summit of the volcano. This is over near the base of the volcano on the southern side. Timberline. Guess what? Look what's happening here. Look what's happening here. Right before we get to 6:30, 6 o'clock, 6:30 this morning, we have some tremors here. And we see these thicker lines here. Magma coming into the magma chamber here. A lot of magma. A ton of magma coming in here to Mount Hood. With that, we have some tremors and we have some earthquakes. And minor earthquakes. Minor earthquakes here. The top of this shows harmonic tremors here. We also see some other tremors here as well. But down here this morning, later this morning, after 6:30, we start seeing a lot of magma and we start seeing more earthquakes. More tremors and earthquakes. And again, we see this wavy line here representing the 6.0 earthquake at Kamchatka Peninsula. Okay, this Mount Hood, Government Camp. Let's go up to the top of the volcano over at Palmer Lift. Palmer Lift is a ski resort on the southern side of Mount Hood. Okay, the ski resort on the southern side of Mount Hood. Here we're seeing another side right here. Look at these earthquakes here. Yes, we see 1 or 2 minor earthquakes and all the rest of these are tremors. Again, we're seeing thicker lines here. The thicker lines are magma coming into the magma chamber, causing earthquakes and tremors. That's what's happening here. Mount Hood is active. Is Mount Hood as active as St. Helens and Rainier? No. No. There was a time period several years back when one Sunday we had 125 tremors here at the southern side of Mount Rainier. 125 tremors on the southern side of Mount Rainier. USGS activated the cautionary flag. They put a cautionary yellow code here on Mount Hood. They thought Mount Hood was going to erupt. But 24 hours later, Mount Hood calmed down. Now, we do have some tremors here, don't get me wrong. We have quite a few tremors and minor earthquakes, microquakes. But Mount Hood is nowhere near getting ready to erupt. But St. Helens and Mount Rainier are. Okay? That's what's happening here. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to take down the volcanoes temporarily, and I want to show you what's actually going on. Okay? Let's go over to Friday Harbor. Good old Friday Harbor. Guys, what do you think's happening? What do you think's happening, guys? Right here. San Juan Island. Look at this. These are minor tremors here. And you see these thicker lines here. There is magma out here headed towards the volcano. Magma out here headed towards the volcano. Yes, we're seeing tremors all over the place here. This is right next to Friday Harbor. Right next to Friday Harbor. Now, I want to go over here and also show you something else here. Ocean Shores, Washington. This is along the coastline. Look at what we see here. Tremors and minor earthquakes here as well. The coastline of Washington and Oregon is very busy. Cascadia earthquake is wrapping up. At some point in time, probably within the next 5 years, as I've said before, we expect to see a Cascadia megathrust earthquake, possibly as much as a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake to happen. Now, over near Seattle and Tacoma area, they've had 6.5 and 6.9 earthquakes there. It's been many years since they've had those earthquakes. A lot of years. It's going to happen again. And then we are going to see a major earthquake here in the Cascadia region, just offshore from the Seattle Tacoma area. It's going to happen. Everything's pointing to it. Literally everything's pointing to it. Ocean Shores, Washington is moving. Now, my friend Marfugel, I don't see many Marfugel people here today. There are a few. We used to have a lot more. Marf took a trip over here to Ocean Shores. He lived over in the Seattle area. He came down here to Ocean Shores and he met some people. He met some citizens. He also met some first responders, police and fire department. Not one of those fire officers or police officers had heard of the Cascadia earthquake. None of them. Nobody told them about the Cascadia megathrust earthquake. Nobody told them about these volcanoes that were ramping up. Ocean Shores, Washington should be told. I'm sure Marfugel told the officers and the firefighters what's going on. This is not just going on now, it's been going on for quite a while. We have some earthquakes here. we have some tremors. The thicker lines here represent magma headed to the volcanoes off of the Pacific plate. It's moving. It's moving a great deal. Now let's show you something else here. That's ocean shores. This is Orcas Island also. Orcas Island is over there in the northern Puget Sound area. Here we're seeing some minor earthquakes and tremors here as well. They're not showing you this. USGS does not mention this at all. They showed us one microquake up here in the northern Puget Sound area. But as you can see, there are hundreds of them. There are literally hundreds of them. I could have spent a half hour showing you earthquakes here in the northern Puget Sound area. But I'm showing you examples of what's going on, because this area is moving. This is representative of what we're going to see coming in the near future. The coastline of Oregon and Washington is moving a great deal. Don't ever be dissuaded about what's going on. As I've told you before, they are not telling the truth at all. Not one little bit. Let's go down towards the southern part of Oregon. Toketee, Oregon. Toketee, Oregon. Look what's happening. Okay? They're hardly showing anything but a couple of minor earthquakes. Last night after 5 o'clock, just after 5 o'clock last night, a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake caused by magma here. Magma here, guys. Toketee is near Crater Lake. Crater Lake. And then this morning, good old this morning here. Look at this. Again this morning, after 5:14 this morning. Actually 5:34 this morning. Sorry, 5:34 this morning. Look what's happening here. Magma causing this earthquake. 2.5 earthquake. Aubrey's here in the chat saying she felt it last week when she was in Seattle. The magma there is coming ashore. Head to the volcanoes. That's what's happening, guys. I want to show you this because it matters. It matters a great deal. Now let's go. I showed you I actually showed you 4 volcanoes, 1 or 3 of them over in Washington and Mount Hood in Oregon. Let's go south. There's more. There's more. I want to show you Sister Volcano here. Look at this. Sister Volcano is not just one volcano, it's 3. It's a volcanic complex. The volcanic complex is being monitored by only one seismograph. One seismograph is a machine. The seismograph is the readout here that you're seeing here. All 3 of these volcanoes, Sister North, Sister Central, and Sister South, all 3 of these volcanoes are moving. They're moving. Newberry Volcano to the north is also moving. What you're seeing here are tremors and earthquakes caused by magma here at Sister Volcanoes. Magma. Now, I was going to show you Crater Lake, but the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network has shut down 3 out of the 4, actually 4 out of 5 seismographs monitoring this volcano. Crater Lake is not being monitored hardly at all. The only seismograph that was available was showing nothing. The Wizard Island seismograph was showing nothing, which is interesting because the seismograph itself is exposed to the weather on Wizard Island. And you'd think with the exposed weather it would be showing something, but it's not. Not showing any activity at all. The bunkhouse in the south central part of Crater Lake hardly shows anything going on. Yet it is the other seismograph that's supposed to be working. It's not showing anything. Crater Lake is moving as well. I've seen it here before. It's not just stopped. These volcanoes have not stopped moving at all. Nothing. Nothing. Okay? Now, I want to go back over here to the chat. Michael Kearney, bless his heart. He just gave 5 people here memberships on our Emergency Management Associates club here. The club. We appreciate all of you. Those of you that receive memberships here need to thank Michael Kearney for this. Cassandra Goss, Gigi, Eric Plays Games, Mary Pedersen. Mary Pedersen's been a dear friend of mine for years and years. She received a membership. CC December 2018 received a membership, and Michael Kearney did it. You guys that receive memberships, please thank Michael Kearney for that. Michael, you've given a lot of memberships away already. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate you and love you. You're awesome. Now, guys, do you have any questions so far? Just briefly, I want to drop south to Mount Shasta. Good old Mount Shasta. Look at this. Right here. Mount Shasta is moving. They don't want to show us everything. This is today here. Mount Shasta is moving. Over in the center here, you see the date change here. Okay, it shows 9/15/2025. That's midnight. Now, there was a time period last night where they turned off the seismograph. This gap here is white. It's where they turned off the seismograph. Now, they do that quite frequently so they don't have to show earthquakes at night. Mount Shasta is moving. Don't let them fool you. Just because they show you earthquakes last night doesn't mean anything else didn't happen after that. They have. Also note here, let me expand this diagram so you can see what I'm talking about here. Look at what they've done here. They've cut off the top and the bottom of these earthquake sequences. That means these earthquakes are larger. Okay? Right now we're showing you here on the left-hand side on the red line there. These red lines, by the way, are computer generated. That is the computer saying, hey, seismologists, look at this. Yes, this seismogram has been looked over by the seismologists. Okay? We're not showing you anything they don't want us to see. Okay? But there's other things they don't want us to see. That's why they're not showing it. But this one over here on the left is a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake, as it stands. But again, they cut the top and the bottom off. This earthquake happened after 4:07 p.m. last night. 4:07 p.m. last night. 2.7, 2.8 earthquake. You can see these other earthquakes as well. The seismologists have shut off the top and the bottom of the quakes. when this happens, and these earthquakes last more than a minute. Yes, these earthquakes are last more than a minute. That means these earthquakes were at least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes, maybe larger. 3.5 plus earthquake here. 3.0, 3.9 is considered to be small earthquakes. Once it gets over 4.0, they become moderate earthquakes. They're happening. Mount Shasta is busy. Okay? Now, we don't often see this because USGS, this is a USGS seismogram. The others are coming from the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network. Both agencies are hiding data. Now, as you can see here, they verified that by not having any data here at all. Turn off the seismograph. Then when they do turn it back on, all those showing you microquakes. Microquakes going on here. We know darn well what's going on. The seismic energy doesn't just quit. Magma just doesn't quit either. Okay? Then later today, look what happened. After 11 a.m. today, look what happened. On the right-hand side, that is 11:20 a.m. this morning. Actually, 11:29 a.m. this morning. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Then on here in the blue line, that's 11:30. Going over here at about 11:02 a.m., 2.3, 2.4. And this seismic energy lasted quite a long time. Magma coming into the magma chamber caused these earthquakes. Fracturing the rock inside the volcano. And you can see what's going on here. On this red line here, this would be 1 p.m. this afternoon. Again, we can't see the total length of the earthquake because they cut off the top. They've also they're not showing us the bottom because the bottom would be showing us on the other side graph. Okay? But these are at least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes at Mount Shasta. This activity this afternoon after 1 o'clock is very active. Look over here on the right-hand side. The seismic energy didn't stop. The magma didn't stop either because the magma is causing these earthquakes. Rock fracturing inside the volcano. That's Mount Shasta. Now I'm going to bring this down and I'm going to make it smaller so we can see what Mount Lassen is doing. Mount Lassen is also active. Let me show you the sidegram at Mount Lassen. Look at this. Now, at Mount Lassen and Mount Shasta, there are 10 seismographs. Man, I can't even talk. There are 10 seismographs monitoring these volcanoes. Many times, the scientists have turned off the seismograph, completely off, not showing anything. And that's what happened here. There are only 2 active seismographs showing you activity at Mount Lassen, and only 1 at Mount Shasta. And I showed you that. This one at Mount Lassen is LME on the north side of Mount Lassen. Look at this. These are microquakes and tremors. Microquakes and tremors. I do not see any minor earthquakes. I don't see any minor earthquakes. These are minor tremors and microquakes at Mount Lassen. And then after 9 o'clock at night, they turn the seismograph almost off or all the way down. So it doesn't show anything. So between 9 p.m. last night, 2100 hours, until this morning. Until this morning. You can see the time change here on the left in the center of your screen on the left-hand side. The date change here, that's midnight. So down here later this morning, all of a sudden we have earthquakes and tremors again. Interesting how they turn the seismograph up so you can see this stuff. But before that, you see some very tiny microquakes here and minor tremors. But you can see where they turned up the seismograph because the activity ramps up. The activity ramps up after 6 a.m. Unreal. Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen are ramping up. Now, in the past, there was a lot more activity here at Mount Lassen. A lot. But they are not showing it now. Now, that might be because the seismologists decided not to show it to us. They've done that before. Could it happen again? Yes, it absolutely could. It might be still happening because they are not showing us activity. They're also falsifying data. And I've proven that time and time again in the past. Harbor Girl here. Harbor Girl, thank you for being here. Harbor Girl lives over in Northwest Washington. I appreciate her so much. She says the mass majority comes from Seattle City Lights. 86% of Seattle's power is hydropower. You're right. Absolutely. Thanks, Harbor Girl, for being here. We appreciate you here. Does anybody have any questions for us? Does anybody have any questions for me? I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. I appreciate you guys. I really do. You guys are my friends. You guys are everything to me. "23 Angels Fly." 23 Angel Sci-Fi is here. It's good to see you. I agree, Michael Kearney. Michael Kearney saying nuclear power is a bad idea. In a lot of cases, it is because they have built the nuclear power plants on top of earthquake faults. They have built the power plants on top of the earthquake faults. Not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Any questions, guys? Demon Catman, thank you for consistently putting the information out about our PayPal and also our address here. The PayPal addresses are scrolling across the top of your, or the bottom of your screen here, and below that you see our email address, rltnspdema@gmail.com. Here you can send us comments, questions, and even ideas on what you'd like to see on our program. Also, our main address is here, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, Morganton, North Carolina. Zip code here is 28655. We appreciate that. Last week we got a letter from Trish and Rich Killian. We appreciate their letter. We appreciate the donation they sent. I want to thank all of you for helping support this channel, whether you support it over on PayPal or whether you send us a letter or a card with a cash or check inside it. That makes a world of difference, guys. We love you. We appreciate you supporting this program. It means a great deal to us. Any questions here? 23 Angel Sci-Fi is asking, what is a harmonic sound? It might be the computers we have running here. Your harmonics kind of sound here, it's probably the computers we have here. We have 3 computers going here. I would hate to be in a nuclear power plant when an earthquake hits. That wouldn't be good. That would not be good at all. Hurricane Heather says, thank you, sir, for being a good example for us. You guys are the examples. I look to you guys. You guys provide me with information. You guys provide me with counsel. You guys do a lot to provide information to each other. And I thank you for that. You guys are the glue that holds us program together. I mean that. Angel Sci-Fi is saying, no, she's talking about the volcanoes. There is harmonic tremors. Harmonic tremors is the magma causing the ground to vibrate. Harmonic tremors are causing the ground to vibrate. That's what harmonic tremors are. The magma coming into the magma chamber is causing the ground to vibrate. Harmonic tremors is what they call that. Okay? Any questions? Any questions, guys? As I said, I love you guys. You guys are the world to me. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you being here. And I ask you all to share this program far and wide. Share this program with your friends, your neighbors, your extended family. Share it also with the people you work with, and also, who else? The people you socialize with here on social media. Tell them about this program. Tell them we're here for you. We're here for everyone. I was over on TikTok the other day, and I was in a group that did not even know about anything going on. They knew nothing about the earthquakes on the West Coast, from Washington down South California. They knew nothing. They knew nothing about earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. They didn't know anything about earthquakes on the East Coast, yet some of them live there. Share this program with everybody that you meet. Everybody wants this information. I share it all the time. God bless you all. I want to thank our mods here as well. You mods mean the world to me. You guys help share this information. You help moderate our channel. And when we get the trolls in, you bonk them on the head and toss them out. I appreciate that so much. Now, I wanted to ask you all a question. We have a funeral going on Sunday. Charlie Kirk was killed last Wednesday. His funeral is this Sunday. If you want to see his funeral on this channel, we will hopefully cover it. The media is going to be there, and we'll cover it here on the channel if you want to see it. Charlie Kirk I'd never met him personally, but I considered him to be a friend to everyone. He was trying to make sure that people had information about our country, trying to make our country better. Yet some people didn't like it. They didn't like his rhetoric. They didn't like the idea that he was trying to make this country better. They killed him. They thought that silencing his voice would end his influence. It hasn't done that. Because they shot and killed him on Wednesday afternoon. His voice has gotten stronger now. His voice has gotten a lot stronger. And as a result, his voice and message is going far and wide. This past weekend in Europe, in London, England, in London, they had a rally that was supposed to be to better the country of England, to bring the government back in control of the citizens. But over 1 million people rallied in the streets of London and shouted, "Thank you, Charlie. We love you, Charlie." The same thing in Italy and various other parts of Europe. The voice of Charlie Kirk is echoing all around this globe, all around the world. And if you folks want me to cover his funeral on Sunday, I will do that. He's gotten a lot of young people involved here. Charlie Kirk wasn't just preaching to young people, though. Everybody was getting the message. But more and more young people realize exactly what's going on in our country because of the influence of Charlie Kirk. We appreciate and love him. I love him like a brother. I have a hole in my soul because of what happened to him. His family's mourning. I saw a very short video yesterday of his wife grieving over his casket, holding Charlie's hands and crying, "I love you, Charlie." That was poignant. Yesterday evening, they held a vigil at the Kennedy Center of Performing Arts. Over 2,000 people appeared at the Kennedy Center to honor Charlie Kirk. Politicians and everyday people. That is going on all over this world of ours because of the voice of Charlie Kirk. It looks like you guys want to see me cover Charlie Kirk's funeral, and we'll do that. I love each and every one of you. There is a scripture I want to share with you right now. It's a scripture that I've shown many times before, and I'll show it again. This scripture right here. "Wherefore stand ye in holy places, and be not moved, until the day of the Lord come, for behold, it cometh quickly, saith the Lord." Amen. Stand ye in holy places. Make sure that you're doing the right thing for the right reason. Make sure you stand firm in your home and in your community. Stand ye in holy places. Stand ye in holy places until the time of the Lord come. And he's coming quickly. He is coming quickly. May God bless us this day and always. May God be with us. We will be back here tonight or in the morning if and when something else happens that we need to talk about. As soon as the information becomes available, we'll bring it to you on the air. Otherwise, we will be with you again tomorrow afternoon after 4 p.m. with another episode of Emergency Management Associates. Again, please share far and wide. We'd appreciate it. God be with you until we meet again. See you on the other